Hello, I'm the professor with the bow tie. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe to learn Greek and to learn how to apply the theoretical knowledge of books into your everyday life. In today's episode, we will talk about a Greek philosopher that exerted tremendous influence on philosophers from ancient times till modern era, from Plato and Aristotle till Hegel and Nietzsche. Even if some of them disagreed with him, this disagreement led them to formulate their philosophical theories with greater clarity. And this philosopher would be Socrates. What was his life pattern that got him into trouble and made him so admirable to the point that his life to be the milestone, so as philosophers to be divided into pro-Socratic philosophers, that is, philosophers that lived before Socrates and developed their theories, and philosophers that lived after him and influenced by him? What virtues and talents had Socrates that could help us into our everyday lives? To begin with, we must stress that Socrates never wrote something to be read. All the information about him and his philosophical thought has been derived from the two main sources that were saved intact. That is, from the dialogues of Plato, the famous disciple of Socrates, and the Socratic works of Xenophon, the historiographer. He lived in the 5th century BC, and his life was an inspiration for the philosophical schools that they cared for the soul and not for the pleasures of the body. His life paradigm was illustrative. He was eating and he was drinking when he needed to. He was dressed in thin clothes and he was walking barefoot. His philosophical theory advocated the innate austerity that renounces all pleasures except for those suitable for prosperity. Even though he had students of aristocratic descent, he was not accepting money for his philosophical activity. According to Plato's Apology, Socrates offers his time for the welfare of others for free, while he lives in poverty. In conclusion, he was a poor man. It is said that his poverty was the cause of quarrels with his wife Xanthippe. Socrates was ahead of his time, not only for his philosophical theory, but also for his modesty. It is attributed to him the famous quote that all he knew was that he knew nothing. Socrates opposes to human arrogance. In Plato's Apology, he believed that only God is truly wise and that human wisdom is insignificant to the previous one. He did not consider himself as an expert like sophists. Sophists was wandering intellectuals with whom Socrates was in conflict. They were getting paid about their lessons, unlike Socrates, and they had some points of view about morality that contradicted the Socratic mentality. For example, Socrates criticizes Protagoras' view that justice and self-control are not inherent. Information about this famous conflict between Socrates and sophists is depicted by Plato in his dialogues that have as titles the name of well-known sophists like Hippias, Protagoras, Gorgias. Another element that proves Socrates' modesty and perception of human inferiority regarding the possession of knowledge is his philosophical method called Socratic elenchus or Socratic debate. He raises questions about commonly accepted truths so people can find the contradictions in their beliefs. That's why Socrates is considered not so much a teacher as a seeker of the truth, and this also shows his logical thinking. However, this examination of the opinions of others and the proof of their ignorance had made him unpopular. Also, a number of other factors led him to his death sentence. According to Plato's work Ephthiphion, Meletus accuses him around 400 BC or probably 399 BC, the time that Socrates died. The accusation was that he does not recognize the same gods that the state worships and that he creates new deities, demonia. And the second part of the accusation was that he corrupts the young people, his disciples. The religious dimension of the accusation is based on the fact that Socrates publicly claimed to be guided by a divine sign, like an internal voice that was warning him for everything harmful, like his engaging in politics. Aristophanes, the well-known comedian, played his role in worsening the situation, as he presented Socrates like the overthrower of the traditional religion in his works. In fact, these religious accusations led many to compare him with Christ during the revival of Platonism at the end of 15th century. In addition to the above, the political dimension of the accusation must be added, as it is believed to be the real one. The corruption of youths is based on the fact that some of his students had anti-democratic mindset, like Alcibiades and Critias. Alcibiades was in fact guilty for the defeat of the Athenians in the Sicilian campaign in 415 BC because he defected to Spartans that they were advocates of the oligarchic regime. But Socrates had friends from the oligarchic and the democratic party. Also, according to Xenophon, Socrates was against the act of the Athenian democracy to appoint public officials by lot, as he believed that no one would appoint a rower or a carpenter to be as an official, and that it is absurd for people to be appointed by lot so as to assume the most important positions of the state. The combination of the above factors led to the death sentence of Socrates by poison hemlock. The dignity with which dealt with the situation is admirable. During his stay in prison until the execution of the sentence, his wealthy friends and students were visiting him, and this gave him the opportunity to escape. But Socrates did not seize the opportunity. He preferred to die, supporting till the end his philosophical ideals. The overall attitude of Socrates teaches us to support our views and our ideals bravely, no matter what. To have critical mindset through the examination of people's opinions, not to accept all kinds of information, not to be united with the masses mentality. If we have objections to a specific matter and we think that this will help the society in general, we must express them without fear. This is how it is being built a strong character that stands out from the others and becomes object of admiration. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.